Kia ora i te iwi and welcome to The Chew.
The Chew.
Where we chew the fat off random kaupapa. Anei ahau ko taika maua ko kore ratahi. Coming at ya from the deep dirty south of Te Waipounamu in Tahuna, or in Queenstown. So this is our very first episode of The Chew, and we'll probably just be talking about what The Chew's all about, who we are, where we come from, all those sorts of things. So what better way to start than who we are and where we're from, Ihika? So, I'll whiwha te rākau to you and, kick us off.
Cool. Well, first things first, if you like this video, can you like it and subscribe as well? Subscribe to our channel. We're all ready to go. It's a production made by Ngā Manu Hou, which is just us anyway. So, tēnā koutou i te iwi. In English, that's the way that we say hello. Right, me. Ko Corey ahau. So my name is Corey. I've lived in Queenstown here for the past 6 years. Yep. And my iwi affiliations, my Māori iwi affiliations are Ngāti Porou, Ngāti Awa, Rongo Whakaata, Aitanga Mahaki. So I'm an East Coast boy.
East Coast?
From the east coast of the North Island in New Zealand. A little bit about me. I work in the council in Queenstown here right now as a data systems analyst. It's a bit different from what I do outside of the council, where I do a lot of kaupapa Māori support. So, that's me in a nutshell. Ka whiwha te rākau ki a koe, bro.
Oh, kia ora, our friend from Te Tai Rāwhiti, or the sunny coast as they call it. So a little bit about me. I hail from Te Tai Hauauru, or the windy west, which is the other coast of the North Island. I've been down here in Queenstown for about 15 years, I think, about 14, 15 years. Just recently moved to Tiro or Cromwell, so been there for a couple of years now. I work for Skyline Enterprises. I'm not sure if you can see the gondola behind me up here. If not, well, that's who I work for. Down at their main office down here, I am their kai haumaru me te kai hauora. So I do the health and safety for the group role for them. And out of work, enjoy watching every single sport in the world, from table tennis to, NRL. Go the Warriors. This is our year. But that's probably a little bit about me. So, got a young family, very newborn baby, so 4 months old, so she keeps me on my toes, and my little 3-year-old boy too. But other than that, that's who we are. So, welcome to The Chew, everyone. And so Corey was really the driving force behind getting this podcast going. So where did it all start from, Ihika? Why did you want to get a podcast going, and te mea?
Well, I guess there's probably a lot of people out there in the internet world that are familiar with Joe Rogan. I'm a big fan. Well, I used to be a big fan. Since he went all anti-vax, it's kind of annoying. But despite that, he's a really popular podcaster. And what I enjoy about his podcast is that he doesn't talk about the same specific things. He talks about a range of different stuff. He brings on guests. And so, I thought I'd like to do something similar to that with a New Zealand flavour, obviously, with a Queenstown flavour. In the time that I've lived here in Queenstown, what I've noticed is that this town is full of interesting people. And when I say interesting, what I mean is you just can't take anyone on face value. When you sit and talk to what you might see as just a random person, they have these really interesting experiences in their and where they've been in their lives. So I thought that might be interesting to have as a podcast, is to talk about, talk to some of the locals here in Queenstown. And so from those two things, is where this podcast come from. Now, it's been like, I guess, about 2 years, bro. I first hatched this idea a couple of years ago. I bought all the gear for it, but I really didn't pull the trigger because I wasn't sure if I had the time. I wasn't sure if the format was going to be correct. And really, it wasn't until we discussed it that this thing really grew arms and legs.
Yeah.
So now, what are your hopes for the podcast, bro?
Yeah, probably similar to you. You know, Queenstown's got a massive pot of really diverse people. You know, we've got a lot of international people that all reside here who have been in Queenstown for a number of years, who have some really crazy, amazing backgrounds. And yeah, I suppose since we connected, which was only probably, 3, maybe 4 years ago, through my Te Arareo journey, through SIT or Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, where Corey was the kaiawhina. We sort of really hit it off, didn't we? You know, we had very similar backgrounds, you know, both coast boys, you know, raised, you know, in and around the marae, you know, in and around Te Reo, but, you know, we weren't really very adept in the language ourselves. So I suppose just hitting it off together like that, we had very similar thoughts and maybe very similar aspirations, and then, you know, all of a sudden here we are, you know, doing this podcast. So yeah, the hopes for this podcast, just have a bit of fun, you know, it's going to be really lighthearted, you know, interview some people, so on a serious note, you know, have an opportunity to get down dirty and serious with some of the locals, but also just pick some random topics that we could have a really good kōrero or really chew the fat of. So whether that's from sports to, I don't know, you know, what's the top 10 things to do in Queenstown for the pōhara, you know, all poor people. Yep. I get hit up all the time about what can I do down there, you know, where can I go eat. So hopefully there'll definitely be episodes in the coming future for people that have never been here, that want to, you know, get down here with what little money they have. So, you know, watch the space when those roll around.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect. No, I won't say that I have high expectations for this podcast because, you know, lots of people wish their stuff to be like massively famous and and stuff. But I'm actually just seeing this whole thing as being interesting. Yeah. And another thing is, I want people within this Queenstown region to realise, you know, how interesting our own people are here. Yeah. Now, obviously, Taika and I, me and the bro, we've both come through our journey of learning Te Reo Māori, or the Māori language, and through that we've had some amazing experiences with people who are Māori, who are Pākehā, or, you know, European New Zealanders,
Tauiwi.
And Tauiwi, the migrant community. So we've met so many people on our journey of Te Reo, and it's through those experiences of talking to those people that we realised there's some untapped potential there for having interesting discussions. So we're probably going to bring a lot of those people that we've met on our Te Reo journey into being interviewed, and to share their thoughts, to share some of their crazy experiences. With you guys, our massive viewership of 6 people.
But now, well put here, Hick. Definitely on the same page, and, you know, the main kaupapa for me is just to have a lot of fun while we're doing it. Yeah. Couple of brown boys in the deep dirty south down here. I don't know why they call it the dirty south, because you know, these are some of the cleanest roto anawa I've ever seen compared to, you know, up the Whanganui River. No offence to the Owano up there, but you can pretty much drink the water down here in this lake. So
yeah, you just can't drink it out of the tap. It's weird. all the tap water is real bad. It's all chlorinated. It's so weird to live in Queenstown, and the only place you can get fresh water is to actually go to the lake and drink it, or go to the river and drink it. But Anyway, that's a sustainability conversation that we'll have another day.
Hashtag the topic.
That you.
And probably talking about topics too, Whānau, for all of our 6 listeners out there, hopefully 8 by the end of next week or next month, we're really keen to hear what sort of topics you guys want us to chew their fat off too. So, on the page, just get in there, give us a like, flick a comment in there with whatever topics you want us to kōrero about. Like I said, it's really lighthearted, so we don't want to get into the real thick, heavy stuff, but something we could have a good laugh at. So anyway, get in there, let us know what you want to chew the fat off, and we'll give it our best crack.
Yeah. Sounds good. So, topic for now is let's do a sports wrap, bro.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good. Yep.
So, I'll throw Rako back to you.
Awesome.
For the first part of our sports wrap.
Yeah, cool. Obviously, we had a couple of big sporting events on the weekend occur. We had the UFC going on. Corey is a UFC fanatic. He's been following since probably day 1 or even day -10, to be honest.
Yep.
I'm not definitely as hardcore as he is in that space. But another big event that occurred in the weekend was the Super Bowl. So I'm definitely an LA Rams man.
You called it, bro. You called it. It was a close one too. You really nailed that.
Yeah. So if you've got to spare 9 hours to watch that entire game, which most people don't, then yeah, it was a really good game actually. It was super close. It flip-flopped between the two teams the whole way through, and then the Rams just pulled it off in like the last minute, which usually takes about half an hour, the final minute. But the Rams winning the Super Bowl, second time they've won it over in the States. There was something like, I can't remember, was it like 1,500 tons of wings consumed on that day, on Super Bowl day? But really, that was probably most of the sports. Oh, the other one I think I called was Zoe Sadowski Sinnott.
Yes.
Claiming a medal. I said she would get the gold, but she got the silver.
Got the silver, yep.
So another Kiwi tearing it up, a local Kiwi from Wanaka, actually, which is just over the hill there.
Yep, just over the hill,
yep.
Yes.
And even our New Zealand, our other New Zealanders, Tian, and I can't remember the other person's name, did pretty well. They finished their runs, they didn't medal, but just competing over there's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, they did great. Her final jump at the end there, if she just stuck that landing, it would have been good. But the girl that won, did you see her last move?
Yeah.
Man, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was an awesome. The gold medalist deserved to win her gold medal. Zoe. Amazing stuff, and even better that she's a local as well, from Mount Aspiring College. Got to give them a bit of props because they're doing well. A lot of the kids over there do well. Same with the kids here at Wakatipu High School, Whakatipu High School.
And probably last one before I flick it over to you so you can, give us a lowdown on the UFC, was just in the half pipe there with Sean White. I'm not sure if you guys or gals out there know who that is. He's almost like one of the granddaddies of the half pipe. Triple or maybe double gold medalist. So he's been around for a while. I was really hoping he'd probably take it out again. I think he's like 35 and the rest of the field are like in the young or late teens or early 20s.
Yeah.
And he actually invented a lot of moves that the people are doing now to get their medals. So he bombed out, which was pretty sad, but, I thought I'd slip him in there because, he's been a pioneer in the snowboarding realm for a number of years. So, yeah. But other than that, let's talk UFC.
Yeah, UFC, only one blight on the night for me, and that was Blood Diamond. He didn't manage to get it going. Yep. I missed the fight. I think he was either the first or the second fight of the day. But I saw the result. He lost to submission, rear naked choke. Ooh. So I didn't really want to watch. So, I don't like dwelling on disappointment. So I'm sure he'll come back better.
Yep.
Carlos Solberg, I watched his fight. Great technical fight. what I love about the CBK guys is technically they're really good. So he wasn't in trouble at all. A lot of people call it boring, but hey, you do what you have to win, and if you don't get, concussed, like for me, that's the right way to fight.
Yeah.
So he won his fight pretty easily, convincingly. Kept the guy at distance and just picked him off.
Yeah.
So he had a good fight. Tai Tuivasa.
The big boy.
Man, when I said that guy lives by the sword and dies by the sword, he almost died by the sword. But what I love about him, man, and it's testament to that island mentality, the Samoan mentality. When he got hit with some good shots in the head.
Yeah, he took some hammers.
Yeah. And we're talking heavyweight, the best heavyweight
Yep.
fighters in the world. So they're no slouches when they hit you. So he got hit with some clean shots on the way up. He was held down on the ground, and he managed to scramble back to his feet. And when he got to his feet, he just unleashed. You could see that most fighters would like back away, would try and get their head back. But you could just see that he was seething at being hit in the head so much. So he unleashed, and he just went swinging. And in the end, he knocked out. Derek Lewis.
Who was a beast.
Derek Lewis, his nickname is the Beast, bro. And he has the record for the most knockouts in UFC history. So, the young guy knocked out the old dog. And great fight. It's exactly what you want to see in heavyweight
CBK
MMA.
man too?
No, he's not a CBK.
Yeah.
No, he's he fights out of a gym in Australia, West Australia.
Okay, yeah.
So he's an Aboriginal, part Aboriginal, part Samoan, and but by his own account, he used to help Mark Hunt, good Kiwi heavyweight from back in the day. He used to be, as he called it, the punching bag for Mark Hunt. So
holy moly!
When people said, how hard were the hits from coming from Derek Lewis, he just came back and said, well, I used to be a punching bag for Mark Hunt, so Mark Hunt's one of the greatest KO artists in UFC as well from back in the day, and a good Kiwi man.
Well, the Mark Hunt, Bigfoot De Silva?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep, that was a crazy. Well, the first fight was an absolute war, and the second fight, funny enough, was this time De Silva wasn't juiced on steroids. So the first fight, he was juiced on steroids, and the two of them went 5 rounds.
Yep.
The second fight, he wasn't juiced on steroids, and he got knocked out, and I think it was the first or the second round.
Yeah.
So going on to the main fight, Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. Good fight again. Izzy did what he had to win. Kept him at length, picked him off, overwhelmed him with leg strikes.
Yep.
A lot of the MMA casuals just think leg strikes are a waste of time, but he won convincingly for me. So
because I've seen a few people, going, I think Whittaker might have had more rounds than Adesanya, so...
Yeah, and by and large, the people that say that give no weight to leg kicking, because they just say, he's kicking him in the leg. It's not as good as a punch in the face. So it's kind of weird casual behaviour, really, because leg kicks. There have been plenty of people in the past that have won fights purely off leg kicks. Have knocked people out by leg kicking. So It was an easy win for me, but you look online and it makes it look like Rob got robbed, which is weird, because he didn't really look like he was doing that much, apart from really good jab was getting through, couple of takedowns. I think he got about 5 takedowns, but he didn't really do anything once he took him down. So happy that Izzy got the win. It was it was a good day all round, I think, for the Kiwis and for CBK, just Blood Diamond.
So 3 out of 4 was that?
2 out of 3.
2 out of 3.
From CBK, but Tuivasa, I mean, to me, he's a Kiwi, even though he's got no real Kiwi connections. But, Plenty of tui vasas in Auckland. So
Well, there's one down here at the moment, as we
Yeah.
spoke about, the one that has the sheck on the
Yes.
end of it.
Yep.
Yep.
yeah, so I think that's the sports wrap for the for this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. But a couple of big weekend of sports actually, you
Yep.
know, which was non-rugby. Oh, sorry, and I did forget the All-Stars Indigenous NRL game on the Friday evening.
Of course, great game.
Yeah, awesome
Go the
game.
Māori boys.
Awesome game. And the women actually played just before, so
Yep.
that was won by the Indigenous All-Stars team.
Oh, did they? Oh, they beat them. Right.
Yeah, yep, they beat them. But yeah, the main game was it was a cracker of a game. There
Yep.
were even a few punch ups in there, and
Yeah.
that Jordan Rapana,
Rapana. Yeah.
he was just
troublemaker.
dishing it.
Yeah.
I like that. Eh? Yeah, I like the dirty grubs or people that are just rubbing it because
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I do, even though it kind of looks like what do they say in Australia? You're a dog. Yeah,
Dog
but-
or a grub.
A grub. That's the
Yeah.
other one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, nothing wrong with that.
I'm sure he's from Te Tairāwhiti, isn't he?
Who?
Or Rapana?
Rapana? I don't know. We'll claim him, bro. Yeah, I'm sure his great-great-grandfather was a Ngāti Porou. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, we only had one from our area in the team from Ngā Rauru, and that's Cody Nukurima.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, who also
Ooh,
likes
good
to
player.
Yeah, he also likes to play a bit of hide and seek though for the Warriors.
Yeah, he does. He does, to be fair. But he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders
Yep.
too.
Yep.
You know, people just assume every new number 7 from New Zealand is going to be Stacey Jones. Like, really? So, I don't know many of the people in the team, apart from the obvious ones who are in the Kiwis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I don't really. Again, I don't keep an eye on a lot of the players individually. But I did see the game. The highlights of the game looked great. Looked like a great game on both sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
played tough. It was pretty low scoring.
Yep.
Yeah. So no, it was good.
And even the haka, like right at the end, which is very rare. You see, they were right up in their face, just giving it to them right in there, which is very rare to see, to be honest. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a good weekend of sport. And I need to apologise because I had a feeling last week there was another sport. And I said cricket, but I meant the women's cricket. So they've been playing, the women have been playing cricket as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure
Yep.
they're playing here in Queenstown.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we won. I can't remember who we played, but yeah. There is cricket on, and the New Zealand ladies won.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah. Yes. So that's the sports wrap for this episode. And any other quick topics you want to discuss?
Oh, not off the top of my head, to be honest. Yeah, not
All right.
that'll be quick anyway. That's for sure. What about yourself?
Well, so this is not going to be quick,
Okay,
but we'll try and make it quick.
sure.
So I want to know what's your background in what's your Māori background? What was it like? And now that you've come back to your language, te reo, did you ever have it, or is this like your stepping stone into it?
Yeah, so I suppose if we talk about my upbringing, and I was pretty lucky with having the opportunity to grow up and around the marae. So the old man used to take me up as often as he could up the Whanganui River or Wanganui River to the locals up there, and he'll take me along to a lot of the hui. So this is probably when I was at primary school, even before primary school. On my mum's side, our marae was just up the road. It was like 15 k's. They started a kohanga, which my sister went to. So they were always keen to push me into that te reo space. They used to speak it to us quite a lot. Primary school, high school, through that Te Reo stream, I suppose. And then, yeah, even in college, I wouldn't say shipped off, but I went up to Spotswood College in New Plymouth. Spotty hard, yup. And yeah, I did the, what do you call it? Form 6 or Year 12? Yeah,
Year
Form
12.
6, yeah, Form 5, so School C and Form 6, Te Reo Māori up there. So, yep, I wouldn't say I was fluent, but I could understand basic conversation. Listening to my nan, my kuia, who's matatau in Te Reo Māori, she would always try and use it as much as she could around us. And then, yeah, when I left school, I pretty much just stopped using it, to be honest, just to go to the pub, play rugby, and it was only recently that I sort of got back on that waka. When my young boy came along, who's now 3, because we're not surrounded by old Māori down here, we don't have a marae, you have these pockets of Māori people in Queenstown, but no real place or anywhere that we can connect to.
Yeah, tika.
Yep, so that made it really difficult to try and get my boy into some sort of Te Reo Māori stream. So the only way he was going to get it was through me. I believe they had a bit of a kōhanga here, but then we moved over to Tira, over to Cromwell, and the only way he's going to get it is if we do it around the home first and foremost, so we try and kōrero, we try and kōrero to him as much as possible. So, yeah, that was the real driver to, give me a kick up the backside to get back into it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned that you took it to Year 12 or
Yep.
sixth form.
Sixth form.
To us oldies. And you could understand? You could understand a fair bit?
Oh, at a very basic level. So you're taught structures, your past, present, and future tenses.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So, your E's, KTs, and cars. So when you are hearing at a high school level people talk, you can pick up sort of those tenses, some of the verbs, not all of them. So you can have a little bit of an idea on what they're talking about, but not at a really deep understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I definitely couldn't go to Manu Kōrero and, do a speech, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But when people are doing basic mihi, being at school too, we'll talk karakia, whai kōrero, rope learned whai kōrero, if you know what I mean. Here's the structure, this is how you, change this and that. So when you're hearing others do it, you could be like, oh, cool, this is that part, and I understand a little bit of that. Yeah.
Understand that, yeah.
Yeah.
So my upbringing is similar to yours. However, I think you mentioned that your dad took you around to a lot of hui, etc., right? So I understand that your dad is a kaumātua, is one of the prominent people on your marae. Is that right?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And so he does whai kōrero on the pai, that kind of thing?
Yep.
Yeah, right. So my experience is a bit different in that regard. No one in my immediate family were prominent on the marae. However, my stepfather was extremely fluent, deep thinker in te reo. But as much as my mum in particular had hopes for my Māoritanga, I didn't really have any. I wanted to go, to the shop or play spaceys or do anything except hang out at the marae.
Spaceys.
Yeah. It was all about spaceys back when I was raised in the 70s and 80s. So, I didn't really put any real focus on my Māoritanga. I did it as well to the end of sixth form or Year 12 as well. I'm a little bit older than the bro Taika, so my time was a little bit different. And so I only did that out of pressure from my mum, really. And I achieved at a high level, but I come out of my Māori learning knowing some rote learned whai kōrero and a few karakia. Yeah. But apart from that, I didn't learn any real structures or how to speak Māori, and I really couldn't understand anything after high school. And I did third form, fourth form, fifth form, sixth form Māori. So nothing against my teacher, Joe Green. Because he was actually okay, but he just never really had time to focus on us students one-on-one. He was always doing hui. He was always like, he'd walk into class, ask us to, whakapakia tia on a page. Whakapakia tia means translate into English, something on a page, on a book page, and then he'd leave the class. So, we kind of missed out that one-on-one teaching. And who else? We had Miss Maluli, I think her name was, but she wasn't my teacher. She taught one of the other classes, and she was really good.
So they were known as auntie and uncle in the te reo class?
Yeah.
Whaia e matua or now Mr. and Mrs.?
No, see, back in those days, we didn't even use fire and matua. It was just what is it? Sir.
Sir, yeah.
Yeah. Sir, Mr. Green. Mrs. Maluli, and we had, my favourite class of all time, and I remember it clearly, was when we got Ta Derek Lardelli to come in. And he was only a young fella back then. He wasn't like the prominent sort of person he is now. He was only young, but he was starting to get into moko, into ta moko. So he came in and did a big moko teaching to us, to our whole class, and that was wicked. We just enjoyed it so much. He was passionate. He was he was really high energy. In him I thought, wow, it would be awesome if this guy could teach us every time. So by that time I got to the end of sixth form, I'd had enough. I think there was still a seventh form in Māori back in Gisborne Boys High, but I just had enough by that stage and went, I'm not learning anything, so I'm not going to waste another year. So, I've always had this seed planted in the back of my head, mainly by my mum, to say that, at some point you need to come back to your Māoritanga.
Reconnect.
Yeah, reconnect to it. And I've always been about my Māoritanga. That's never been an issue. I've always used my Māoritanga as a source of identity for me personally. Now, as much as I wanted to walk away from it, if I'm being honest, I've been judged by other people on my Māoritanga my whole life. So, no matter what I do, no matter how I would behave, which was always good, I was always a nerdy good boy, people would often judge me purely based on my looks. So I started to embrace my Māoritanga because other people were negatively were viewing me from a negative perspective based on my look. So I took it upon myself to, try and portray a different image of Māori. And part of that is actually knowing my Māoritanga and knowing my reo, which is what finally brought me back to learning my language. And ever since we've been on that journey, bro, I just can't stop. Everything about my spare time and my personal life is about my Māoritanga now.
I meo hoki, me also too. It's that train started and there's no stopping it now, and it's just gaining more momentum. But I've got a question. When you were doing your te reo at school, did your rōpū class use te rangatahi?
Yeah, all those books. Yeah,
te rangatahi, te matapuna was the next, was it, or te pukaki, or?
No, I think they were all rangatahi.
Oh, yeah.
They were just different colours and they had a different number. Yeah. But
same with us.
Yeah, it had old, can you remember all the names, bro?
Hata, Pani.
Yeah, Tamahai. Rewi. Mere. Oh, you got to love that.
I'll tell you what, if any of those people are listening, because one of my friends who went to Kurakaupapa and I can't remember which high school he went to, might have been Mangere High School maybe, he reckons he met that family up north somewhere.
Wow.
And I was like, cut it out, not even. He goes, yeah, they said their mum was like Pani, and then the fellow I was talking to was Tamahai, and I was like, you're pulling my leg, man. So, yeah, because that was put together by Sir Timothy Kāretu.
Was it?
Potentially.
Wow. Well, I wouldn't be surprised, because he has been the man for te reo for decades now. So, Yeah, that would not surprise me, but at the same time, I didn't know that. Yeah.
That could be a lie, so fact check that one for us, whānau. But, sometimes my ears make stuff up, as my wife tells me,
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, check the comments. Check the details of this video below, because we'll have the truth down there.
But Te Rangatahi, it's probably still going hard at Hatapolder,
Yep.
and what's the other one up around your
Te Aute.
Te Aute College,
Yep.
yeah.
Te Aute.
Yeah.
Te Aute. Te Aute, yeah. I think Tipene might still be running. No, they closed for a bit, but I don't
Or
think
maybe
they reopened.
amalgamated with another
Yeah.
school, so...
It's hard to keep track of which of the Māori schools are still open. But Hatapolder and Hohepa, they've been going forever. Yeah.
St. Joe's Hotohipa.
Mm.
Yeah. Talking about schools, actually, unfortunately for my kura that I got brought up in, which was Waverley High School, or Te Kura Toroa, or Te Wairoa Iti, that got shut down about 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yep.
Why? Just low numbers?
Low numbers, so I think it was either between Waverley High School and Pātea, because we are super close, Tuakana Taina.
Yeah.
Poie country, whānau.
And oh yeah.
And I think it was either Pātea or Waverley. It was either or, and then they decided to shut down. Our kura, which was very sad. But the good thing about that is that I have some athletics records there that will never be broken.
Oh, right, because they closed the school.
Because no one can beat them because the school's closed. So they'll be there for eternity.
I forgot to mention, whānau, the bro here is quite the athlete. He's got all sorts of stories, which in other episodes, we will cover all of them.
Correction, was quite the athlete. And our little rohe, but I've never played an international test match, so... for Macau, but...
Yeah, well, third grade in the Hong Kong rugby competition, it's not really up there, bro, so...
Take it.
I'll take it.
Take it.
Interesting. Obviously, in the coming episodes, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff, bro. And quite often, you guys are going to get sick of us, but you're also going to know a lot about us too.
Yeah.
So, in order to fill in space and time, we're going to end up talking about our own experiences quite often on this podcast. So, I don't know how much of this we should be sharing, but it's a lot of our lives. It's really hard to keep private anyway. So, and we got nothing to hide. We're just here to entertain. Neither of us are some high-flying sports person. We're not high-flying business people. We're not
celebrities of any sort.
Yeah, we're just regular Joes, which is what we're hoping is the attraction. Is that we can talk on behalf of any old random in the street. Because that's how we feel. That's where we feel our place is, as just a random in the street. Yeah. Although I have to say, if you're ever on TikTok...
I knew this was coming.
Just look up Arrowtown Dad. And you'll see some entertaining videos on there, okay? Arrowtown Dad.
And there's a pretty big following, I've heard. I'm not on TikTok, whānau, but my wife is, and she says there's quite a large following for this guy over here. So,
yeah. No. So anyway, so any other thoughts, bro? Before we wrap up.
No, not really. Just welcome to the Chew whānau, to those that are out there listening, and spread the word if you think it's any use. And hey, we're always keen to hear your feedback too. So, if we rant on too long, then just give us a bit of a buzz. Let us know. We probably will ignore it. But like I said, if there's some stuff you want to know about us or this place, you've got some topics you want us to chew the fat off, then by all means, get in that section down the bottom in the comments. Put a comment in there. Subscribe to our channel. and give us a like. That'll be much appreciated.
Yeah, and we will, if we get some really interesting questions, we'll read them out.
Yep.
And discuss the topic. So if it's an interesting question, if it's an interesting topic, we're probably going to bring it up and have a chat about it. Nothing too heavy whānau.
Aye.
Like the whole COVID mandate. I don't know, religious, just none of that. Because it fires up people and gets them all angry, and we're just about fun on this. We're just about having a bit of entertainment without getting too heavy.
Yeah, we're not about that kaupapa whānau.
Yeah.
But hey, if there's anything about this region you want to know about, if we don't know about it, we've got some really good connections. We could bring those people on, and they might be able to, share their knowledge with you guys to answer those questions for you too. So, closing thoughts, Hika?
Oh yeah, I have one. I have a whakatauki. This relates to my TikTok account. Kaore te kumara e kōrero mō tōna reka.
And there it is, whānau. We'll get him to throw the translation in there, but for you Māori, I know that, you know what he's talking about, if you know what I mean. And hey, good to see you all, even though I can't see you through there. And, check in next time, whānau. Mā te wā.
Mā te wā.